one of the most consumed beverages in the world. Some people drink it daily, some people drink it 5 times a day. Like me. Today we're gonna be talking about all the effects that it has on your body that you would not expect. Most people associate coffee with sudden urge to go to the bathroom, and that is true for some people. The reality is that coffee affects our gastrointestinal systems differently, and for some, it could actually cause constipation as opposed to diarrhea. And we're quick to blame caffeine for the surge to go. The reality is we have research showing that decaf coffee has similar effects, leading us to believe that it's actually the result of secretion of the hormone named gastrin, which actually promotes digestion. Coffee can absolutely wreck your ability to sleep.
No, you didn't. I've been up for hours.
Throughout the day, your body produces more and more adenosine, which actually binds to receptors, generating a sleepy response from your body. The longer that you're awake, the more adenosine, the more binding, the sleepier you are. Now I know why I'm always sleepy. Now, coffee comes in with caffeine content and starts blocking those adenosine receptors, thereby making you feel less sleepy, thereby making it harder to fall asleep. So its intended effect can actually become a negative effect. The caffeine can actually also impact our circadian rhythm through its effects on melatonin, which can confuse our internal clock. It's almost like having a form of jet lag without any of the fun or travel. I'll have a large coffee with a double shot of anxiety, please. You can add all sorts of tasty things to your coffee like cream, sugar, or any of this. Of course, unless you're drinking decaf. Your coffee is also loaded with caffeine. And while caffeine can be useful in waking you up and keeping you stimulated, it can also cause a jittery sensation nearby, causing you to be anxious or sweaty even. That's because it activates the fight or flight response in the body, known as the sympathetic nervous system. Research has even shown that overdoing caffeine by a small amount can increase baseline anxiety and the likelihood of panic attacks.
I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Coffee can absolutely impact your weight, as black coffee is nearly calorie-free and actually kicks up your metabolic rate. And in fact, as caffeine stimulates the production of adrenaline, it also decreases the level of ghrelin, the hormone that makes you feel hungry and your stomach growl. But this effect holds the truth even for decaf, because it has been shown to increase the hormone peptide YY, which actually makes you feel satisfied or full. And for intermittent fasting fans like myself, research has shown that having a black cup of coffee does not break your intermittent fasting, and actually keeps the majority of intermittent fasting benefits there. This means that black coffee can truly be used to aid your weight loss efforts. Cheat code vibes! Coffee makes your hand feel cold because coffee stimulates those small glands that sit on top of your kidneys called adrenals. They secrete adrenaline and a stress hormone known as cortisol. One of the main effects of adrenaline is to constrict blood vessels, which are not of utmost importance to your survival. That means all the small blood vessels furthest away from the midline of your body, like your fingertips and your toes, they start getting vasoconstricted and they start getting tighter, which temporarily decreases some of the circulation to your hand, making them feel cold and look pale. Caffeine is one of the most studied performance-enhancing drugs. PEDs? Yeah. Why? Because it works and has been shown to have significant benefits as long as you don't overuse it. Focus, endurance, strength, speed have all been tested and found to have been boosted with low to moderate doses of caffeine 60 to 90 minutes before workouts and competitions. That this effect is so great that actually sets a caffeine limit for some athlete and restrict the amount of caffeine in the athlete's system by limiting concentrations to roughly 500 milligrams of caffeine or several cups of coffee. It's no surprise that coffee does raise the heart rate and blood pressure temporarily due to the secretion of epinephrine, adrenaline. Interesting part is that the effect has been found to be true for decaf coffee as well. So another ingredient could be potentially be responsible here. It's also important to note that long-term consumption does not seem to cause hypertension. The thinking is that those who constantly consume coffee actually build up a protective tolerance to it.
Who wants coffee? Anybody? I'm having a cup of coffee. Who wants? Does anybody want coffee?
Removing coffee is a double-edged sword because it could cause withdrawal symptoms as early as 12 to 24 hours. The thought behind caffeine withdrawal headaches is that the blood vessels in the brain, which are kept tight and constricted due to the actions of the caffeine, starts to swell and cause pain. The ironic part of this is that caffeine is actually found in some common over-the-counter medications. Is coffee dehydrating? This one is fiercely argued on some online forums. Some say yes, some say no. Here's the truth. Coffee is a mild diuretic. It makes you pee more. It makes you excrete more fluids. However, if you're drinking a full cup of coffee, there's fluid in there. So it replaces the fluids you lose, right? Yes. However, if you're drinking little espressos or espresso shots in your coffee, and you're getting a ton of caffeine in there, you're not replacing the loss of fluid. And then in that case, it can be somewhat dehydrated. That being said, if you are not overdoing it, it's usually not enough to become a problem. My dear acid reflux sufferers, coffee can absolutely impact your acid secretion. First of all, we need to stop with this acid-based obsession that has developed online. Drinking electrolyte-reduced water, alkaline water is just complete nonsense. The reason coffee makes acid reflux worse is much simpler than that. It is proven to stimulate gastrin release, which increases gastric acid secretion. And this happens because of the bitter taste of coffee that activates a type of 2-bitter taste receptor in your mouth. So the bitter taste of coffee makes your body secrete more acid. coffee actually messes with your medications and interacts with them in 3 ways. First, it affects the absorption of the medication, and studies have actually shown that common over-the-counter medicines like ketoprofen, which is very similar to ibuprofen and paracetamol, are significantly impacted by coffee intake. The second is through the disruption of metabolism of the medications through enzymes. For example, the blood levels of clozapine, lithium, warfarin, and several antidepressant drugs actually increased after the ingestion of coffee, making them more potent and potentially increasing toxicity. And the third is through disruption of excretion of the drugs, basically how long they stick around. In fact, we've seen increased excretion of minerals like calcium, magnesium, sodium, chloride, and even water-soluble vitamins like vitamin B. Think about that. You're drinking coffee, you're taking your meds, and it's all going amok. That's it for today. This is Shani, your friendly pharmacist, reminding you to drink your coffees moderately. Please like, share, and hit the notification button for more updated videos. See you next time!